What's up, everyone? This weekend, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the newest entry in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, just released on Netflix. So let's review it. And before we jump into the video, if you enjoy, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. You can also follow me on Letterboxd and Twitter. Those will be in the descriptions. As well as this video is going to be spoiler-free for the most part for this movie. So if you haven't seen it, you're pretty much free to watch this video. So without further ado, let's jump into my review for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And before we get into the actual review of this movie, this franchise as a whole, I've seen a few of the movies in the franchise. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen the first one. I saw the remake, and I've seen a few of the ones that came after the remake. Some of them good, some of them not so good. So I've never been like a diehard fan of this franchise, but as always, I love the horror genre. So I was very much looking forward to this one, even if it didn't look too good from the trailers. I was very much anticipating it coming out, especially because it's on Netflix and very easy to watch. And I love the slasher genre, so I'll always be looking forward to a new movie in this franchise. So this movie just came out on Netflix, obviously. It's kind of a requel, if that's what we're calling it. Like, if you've seen Halloween from 2018, you know exactly what kind of movie this is. It's pretty much like brings back all the original stuff from the first movie, or what they can bring back from the first movie, and they pretty much make this kind of like legacy sequel type thing that we've seen more and more in recent years. Halloween 2018 being the obvious example of what this movie is trying to kind of copy in terms of what they did. So for starters, I'm very mixed on this movie. There are certain aspects I enjoyed and certain aspects I really didn't enjoy about this movie. For starters, on the good side, it's plenty of fun. It's a fun slasher film with lots of great kills. There's there's a lot of kills in this movie. There's a number of scenes that just really will satisfy you if you're looking for that in a horror film. There's a lot of great kills. There's a huge massacre on a bus in this film, and there's a lot of blood and gore and all that stuff that you expect from a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, as well as a slasher film in general. So that stuff is certainly the better aspect of this movie. Is if you're looking for kills and that kind of stuff, it's in here. Like I said, it's really fun. It's very entertaining. I wasn't bored during the movie. It's only like an hour and 13 minutes minus the credits, so it really isn't a long movie at all. So, there's not much buy-in to this film. It doesn't last long. I was never bored during it. It definitely benefited from being shorter. Had it run on longer, I'd probably be more angry about this film, but really flew by really quickly, and I was entertained throughout, and I had a lot of fun. There's a lot of funny moments, and if you're the kind of person who can laugh and have fun with kind of the dumb aspects of horror when they do those in horror films, you're gonna have a lot of fun in this movie. There's a lot of laugh out loud moments in terms of some of the dumber things that happen in this film. So certainly there are some things there to enjoy. And also on a more critical scale of this film, the cinematography was really nice. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is kind of known, or at least the first one has really good cinematography, and this one was about in line with that. It's pretty good. It does what it's good. I like when horror movies kind of take that step to make their films look better, and this one did. The special effects weren't great in this movie, but I thought the acting was fine. There wasn't a notable performance in this film that just felt very fake. It's no great acting, but for the most part, I thought it was fine for a horror film. Nothing there held the movie back for me. And this movie really just cuts to the chase. Like I said, it really benefits from a short runtime. It doesn't waste your time that much. It really quickly gets going into the, Leatherface showing up and starts killing people. It very quickly gets going into that. So, it holds your attention easily, I would say. Now jumping onto the bad aspects of this film, or what I didn't enjoy about it. For starters, all the characters in this movie sucked. There's not a single memorable character in this movie. The development for each character is minimal. They're just not likable. You don't want to root for them. You don't really care. It's kind of a movie where you're rooting for Leatherface, and you're just having fun watching Leatherface do his thing. Because they're not good characters like they are in the first one, for example. You're not rooting for them. There's no buy-in towards them. It's kind of a little annoying with how trendy this movie tries to be, in terms of modern trends and stuff like that. That kind of made it a little annoying. And then they're just, the movie director didn't do a good job at making you care for these characters, even the ones it tries to make you sympathize with. Like the main girl in the film, it clearly wants you to root for her, and it just really doesn't work. And along with that, there's some messaging going on in this film, and it doesn't really work. They don't fully commit to it. The main character previously went through a tragedy, and I think they're trying to explore grief or trauma or whatever. It doesn't really work at all because the director just doesn't explore it, and kind of fully commit to that idea. It just doesn't make sense to implement those ideas into a horror film where you're signing on to watch Leatherface just kill people and have fun watching that. So it doesn't really work when you try to like blend it with real world ideas. So just mixed messaging there, in my opinion. It didn't really work at all in terms of developing the character or adding any like symbolism or strong messaging to the film. That just didn't work for me. Another issue with this film is it's just filled with dumb decisions. The whole plot is so convenient. Like once things start happening, people aren't doing anything to better the situation. People are constantly hiding. They're not doing anything. They're just sitting around. It doesn't really play. And there's a lot of characters in this movie. Like a whole like group of bus full of kids go to this town in Texas, and they're just not doing anything despite the situation getting worse. It really all builds up to one big scene in the final act, kind of. It's filled with dumb decisions. Characters not doing things they should. Characters not leaving. For some reason, like it seems like nobody wants to leave this town. It's just constantly filled with that kind of stuff, and it gets to a point where it is frustrating. I said it is fun, and it certainly has its fun aspects where you can just laugh at the film, but at the same time, it does get pretty annoying when it constantly keeps happening. Characters are constantly not doing something obvious that they should be doing, like getting the hell out of there. So it's definitely something that is going to be annoying. It'll be more annoying for people who aren't bigger fans of the horror genre. So keep that in mind. Then they also bring back Sally from the first one in this movie, which doesn't make sense to begin with. They're trying to make her like Laurie from the Halloween franchise, but like Laurie like defeats Michael Myers. Sally more just like survived the first movie. She's more of a survivor of like a really messed up situation. I don't think she really works as this kind of like vengeful protagonist that wants to like end this evil. That just doesn't work for this franchise. It really feels like they're forcing it in, and it's even worse that, obviously the original actress that played Sally couldn't return. So it just makes it even less. It makes me care about it even less. So it just didn't work. It's not something I care to see again. It doesn't work here. They're forcing it in just to try to have this Laurie Strode type character. It doesn't work at all. And then my last negative, I guess this is a negative, is it doesn't really set up anything for the future of this franchise. If you want a sequel, there's not much to build on here. Nothing really progresses. It doesn't really convince you that this movie needed to happen. So that might be frustrating for some fans, especially more bigger fans of this franchise. So at the end of the day, like I said, there's a lot of entertainment here, a lot of good horror moments if you're a fan of that genre, especially if you're a slasher fan. There's a lot of stuff that you can have fun with here. At the same time, there's a lot of just annoying, frustrating movie trends that this movie does that really can be annoying, especially in this genre of film, that really will hurt your experience a lot with it. So I understand why it's getting some very low scores. I understand why some people are really high on it, because there's kind of both aspects in this film. So I'm right in the middle. I'm going to give it a 2.5 and a 54%. So right in that middle range of where I view this film. I recommend it if you're a fan of this genre or this franchise. Other than that, I can't say you're going to enjoy this movie. That's going to do it for my review for Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2022. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Follow me on Letterboxd and Twitter. We can discuss more movies there. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.